Yeah, H3H3 Productions sued iDubbbz because of honestly kind of valid reasons. Because, well, iDubbbz, he made a stream.
Okay, this is my watermark for the stream. I don't want any of my content being stolen. It's okay. So I do want to say I don't agree with what's being said in this comment here. But I'm putting it on screen because I think it should be addressed because it's a big, bold accusation that's very fucked. I will say that I think Ethan Klein is terrified of this guy. So it's just kind of like legit. It is to me. It's super funny that he has so much smoke for everyone that he thinks he can bully, but the person that he's fucking terrified, he just keeps very overtly running from. And it's like, yeah.
That's what the point was. And man, it's hard to watch, because, the allegations are horrendous. The Destiny's person, he said that Ethan, the guy behind H3H3 Productions, yeah, he molests his own kids, which that's shit you don't talk. Like, that makes sense to me, at least. But the problem in this entire case is, well, even though he made a very shitty point, he didn't condone it, which is kind of a problem when you're making a defamation lawsuit. I ain't a lawyer, so I don't know shit, but maybe it actually goes through the system and actually, works. But traditionally on the internet, it's unspoken law that internet problems be dealt on the internet, not legally for the most part. So kind of doesn't feel right. And Ethan's actions, they make iDubbbz's point more clear. Like, seriously, the point was that he's a coward and wanted to use this horrendous allegation. And Ethan's statement regarding him not suing Destiny for this is that...
Now, I know people are like, well, why don't you sue Destiny for saying it? Well, Destiny made it immediately. First of all, this is a comment from Destiny, like, made in passing. Ian put it on his screen for 2 hours during his main broadcast. Destiny made it clear that he was not being serious, right? Pretty much immediately after writing it. Like, nobody was like, yo, Destiny made this claim that Ethan molested his children. Oh, shit. No, people knew that when Destiny said it was like, he was just being a dickhead. Or, I mean, he was being a giant fucking piece of shit, right? But he immediately afterwards made it clear that he didn't actually think that. But Ian took that, and just because you're showing what someone else said doesn't make it not defamation, because you're showing essentially this accusation bare of context and also kind of saying that you think it's true.
And if the person who actually said the thing was joking and you give him a pass, the person who didn't say it, you're suing him. Like, that suing legal stuff, that doesn't really matter. On the internet, if you solve the problem on the internet, well, you get, or more like public support, when you win an argument without even lifting a finger. Because Ethan won the argument, as soon as the stream shifted to that topic, because iDubbbz made a very shitty argument, which made his entire audience just be like, oh shit, you're going too far, boy. Yeah. And just leave him, because, well, he did go a bit too far. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just a Cro-Magnon, what the hell do I know? But saying that some guy molests his own kids is it's a bit too far when you don't have any sort of proof whatsoever. Remember, this guy Ethan, he already had Child Protective Services called on him. Like, he has already been harassed on the internet. Like, it's bad enough when internet controversy enters the real world. Like, it happens on the internet. It should stay on the internet, but I guess most people don't get the memo. So he did get harassed, and he got human skulls sent to him, which sounds fucking insane. But, well, it's the internet. What do you expect? And like, Ethan has a history of suing people and getting sued. That's he deals with drama. That's what he does, so it kind of makes sense. And not to excuse iDubbbz for his actions, I mean, he himself was supposedly remorseful for what he did. I don't know either of these guys personally, none of them, so I can't tell you, but from what I've learned, it sounds like a piece of shit said something and another guy quoted that piece of shit, but clarified that he doesn't believe him just to prove a point.
You can't accuse someone of committing a heinous crime. That's not, if they didn't, that's not free speech. That's not protected speech. It's literally not protected speech.
And the guy who basically got accused for an actual serious crime is trying to fight back against the guy who quoted the original person with a defamation lawsuit, because Canada rules are much more relaxed than American rules. This kind of just smells stinky. Even though what I've said, it's kind of hard, even after all of this, for a guy to be in the wrong. Like, Ethan is still, I believe, in the wrong because he's suing the wrong guy. If he's gonna sue somebody, sue Destiny. I don't condone any of this, so hey, I don't take any responsibility. This is all alleged, okay? I just gotta protect my own ass. By the way, I think the main reason why Ethan, sued iDubbbz was iDubbbz has actually met his family, including his kids. So the level of shit he gets even worse. I mean, this isn't a very clear case, obviously. But to me, I think going to, actual court over this is the wrong move. And it just proves iDubbbz's points that Ethan won't do anything against Destiny because he's scared. And I guess American rules don't allow for a defamation case to be won so easily. So he can't. So that's the problem. Ethan is the victim here. I mean, sure, Ethan says.
I said from the beginning that if people want to go after my children, then, the rules of engagement have changed forever. And that's what I said then. And when, when Ian broadcast this, I sent him a cease and desist because, there's certain things that you don't say and you don't do and lines you don't cross. And they flaunted it. They didn't take it seriously.
Like, I know you're angry about this. It makes sense. If anyone were in your place, that would be a very normal response. But still, no. I personally don't have anything to add to this case. We're just gonna see how it, turns out. I am not a, legal professional, so none of the words coming out of my mouth are any sort of legal advice, but I don't think that this is defamation. Like, it doesn't work. Maybe in Canada laws are relaxed enough where this actually goes through and actually, Ethan wins, but it doesn't sound like it would work. But again, I'm no professional, so take my words with a grain of salt. And so, basically, now, I think you could probably see the problem with all of this. If, this lawsuit goes through, and even just goes through, it's not even if it's successful. You could probably see bigger companies which have more of a genuine claim about defamation doing this. And, you must be doing something wrong if even in this situation, Ethan's actions are considered to be not good. He's just doing this because the Canadian legal system is much more relaxed about these claims, and because he knows that he probably can get away with it, actually get this through the legal system. And he couldn't sue Destiny in America because, well, the legal system isn't that relaxed. I mean, it's hard to even say if iDubbbz actually harmed Ethan's reputation at all. It's just what he said is pretty bad. And Ethan is doing this because, well, iDubbbz has said stuff that I guess Ethan doesn't like. Which, fine, sure. He said stuff. But again, these are the tactics shitty scammers do. Like, I mean, if this even goes through, people like you, like people who talk about, internet drama, they shit on scammers, and scammers have a defamation claim, like way more than Ethan has. And if this lawsuit goes through, well, it's gonna hit Canadians, and I don't think it's a good thing to give anyone this sort of ammunition, even if in this case it's kind of hard to talk against Ethan because the shittiness of the case is blatant to anyone. I mean, if you got eyes, you could probably see that this is dog shit, obviously. So, hey, this is a pretty complex case, and now I'm just gonna show you the closing statements of Ethan as narrated by Moist Critical.
When CPS was called on his family a year ago, the rules of engagement had completely changed. A snark community fabricated a lie that his children were crawling around in dog shit and eating it. An agent came to my home at 8 a.m. to look through my home and interview my children against their will. Investigation is now over, was determined to be unfounded. After this, he could no longer tolerate attacks on his children or attempts to break up his family. Ian was a friend of his for many years. He has been to his house, met his children. When he displayed a message on screen for over an hour stating that he's a pedophile that molests his children, carried a lot more weight than when Destiny said it. Destiny said it in a Discord chat in passing that was on screen for a few seconds. He'd never met or spoken with Destiny, and Destiny has never been to his house or met his children, has zero credibility on the issue, and made it clear that in passing chat message was never meant to be taken seriously. Ian, on the other hand, does know his family, has been to his home, and has met his children, and the fact that he exploited that closeness to forward such a heinous, unforgivable accusation forced him into action. To make matters worse, Ian has supported the call to CPS in his content deputy and openly associates with, spends time in, and celebrates the snark community from which the original CPS call came from. He believes it was Ian's intention to cause harm to his family, as he knew CPS had already visited the home and still decided to rebroadcast the accusations for over an hour on stream. He's pledged to do everything he can to hold him and anyone else who attempts to harm his family accountable in whatever way that he can. Because of the context, he believes that he has a much more viable case against iDubbbz than Destiny, and that's why he's only suing iDubbbz. Destiny also lives in USA, where defamation laws are much harder to win, versus in Canada, where iDubbbz lives. These are all the reasons that he's suing iDubbbz and not Destiny. He's chosen the legal and most proper way afforded to him that live in countries that value free speech, a lawsuit for defamation. Defamation is not protected speech. He does not have an unalienable right to say that he's a pedophile molesting his children. Accountability in this case has to be more than just internet mudslinging and jousting. He has crossed a line, and he's past the point of caring what Charlie or anyone else thinks, and he will protect his family at all costs.
Yeah. That's where this case is at, and that's about it. I do not think that it's a good thing, but it's kind of hard to argue with a person who got this bad an allegation, who has, history with people accusing him. It's kind of hard to argue, but nonetheless, what he's doing isn't a good thing, even though he's doing it for good reasons. It's not good because, this gives more malicious people the same amount of leverage to do exactly what they want to do, which is shaft normal folks and get away with it. That's about it. That's the shadiness that we have reached. By the way, most of this information was obtained from Moist Critical. You know, that's his video he made. That's where I got most of the information. And according to him, he, you know, talked to both parties involved. So, do with that information what you will. But yeah, the entire situation is very stinky. That's about it. Bye.